It's a live Satan Talk with Matthew Badrap.
All right, everybody, welcome to our next live Sit and Talk. Today is May 2nd. I can't believe it is already May, but isn't that the nature of life that we're always like, I can't believe it's already here, May or June or July. So I hear that all the time now. I can't believe it's halfway through the year, and it's true. Time goes by fast, and you got to take advantage of it while it's here. And today we have a few topics that I want to go over, as well as our normal Q&A. But first off, I just want to say hi to everybody on the chat. You can see that we already have a few dozen people in there. And I don't know seldom more why Twitch is so terrible on iPad. Because I don't actually have an iPad. I've used one before. I don't have an iPhone. I never try to stream stuff on those kind of devices, so I can't say. But if you really think about it, if you really think about it, how old is live streaming? And the answer to that question is not very old. If live streaming were a human being, it would be an 8-year-old. Would it be about 8-year-olds live streaming? I know live streaming has been around or live broadcasting has been around for a long time. Radio and TV and all that. But, oh, and I apologize for the poor audio quality, but I'll talk about that in a second too. Everybody can hear me though, right? Right? Hi, Doofy Dolby chatter. Septenvigintillion. Howdy, yeah. Okay, you can. Good. But I remember when I first started my business, not MiniWarGaming, but the one before that, about, well, it's been 8 years ago last month. I remember that because it was the same month that I got married. So we just had our 8th anniversary. And so it's been 8 years. And back then, nobody live streamed. 8 years ago. And it was shortly after that, probably within about a year or two, it might have been 2 years after that, so it might have been about 6 years ago, that I actually started to see live streaming used more. And that was back in the day of, well, Ustream and even Justin.tv has been around for a while, but we're talking like low quality streaming, which makes sense because YouTube only recently had high definition. And yes, it's recently, it's within the past few years. 5 years ago when we started MiniWarGaming, there was no high definition on YouTube. 5 years ago. That's not a long time ago. Like, not at all. So this is still a new technology. Really, it is. And so, of course, it's not going to work really well on the iPad or the iPods or iPhones. And that's where that whole ramble came from. Just a little... It's starting to make me sound old. I am turning 32 this year, so I guess I am getting old. But I'm starting to see why old people always talk like that. I remember back in the day when we didn't even have these whippersnappers. Like, my kids will look at dial-up kind of the way I look at records. That, why would you ever have that? It just doesn't make any sense. Although I do understand why. But, yeah, like, who has dial-up anymore? I know it still exists. But yeah, not very many places anymore. And I complain about our 2 megabit upload internet here, which actually does suck for all the uploading we have to do. But 2 megabit, like that is ridiculously fast compared to just like 5 years ago. It's true. 8 years ago I was working on dial-up and cable internet was around, but it still wasn't that great. But yeah, so my kids... your kids, if you have kids, if you don't have kids, once you do have kids, if you ever do have kids, they're going to grow up with very fast internet connections. I wouldn't be surprised if to them gigabit internet connections are just normal. I don't mean like 1 gigabit. I mean like they no longer talk in megabits. Like how we used to talk in kilobits. My dial-up internet gets 56Ks, and that was awesome. We don't talk in kilobits anymore. When it comes to internet, we talk in megabits. Well, they'll talk in gigabits, probably even in terabits. And I know it sounds ridiculous, but it'll be true. And they'll complain about how their 50 gigabit upload and download speeds just aren't fast enough to do what they want, because their high definition won't be 1080p, it'll be like a bajillion P. That's right, a bajillion P. Because really we can get more resolution, we really could. It's just size of disks and bandwidth that matters. Now, I've been rambling for a few minutes about these things, but I actually do want to cover some wargaming topics as well. Trust me. So So I'm just reading the comments here. 40K Addict. Back in my days, we had pennies and $2 bills. That's true. Just got rid of the penny. $2 bills have been gone for a while though, and $1 bills. But yeah. Fishy Swa says, I tried to explain to my 18-year-old friend what 8-tracks were. Set Stresker says, some places in the US still have dial-up because the infrastructure is terrible. Yeah, and in Canada too. Although places that you can't get cable generally now have access to like cell phone internet, like mobile internet, or wireless internet. So that's becoming more predominant around here. So, and then Pilkey CRC, I do kind of miss the sound dial-up used to make while connecting. There was something nice about that, you know. You're like, okay, connect to internet. And then you can start checking your email. And if somebody sent you a picture, oh! Especially if you're like using Microsoft Outlook, because back then Hotmail wasn't the normal thing, right? It wasn't everybody had their own online webmail thing. But if you're like Microsoft Outlook, you're like send and receive, and you're like email. All of a sudden it's like, and you couldn't get past that email because that's just the way it worked. Like, sure, you could call your web provider and you could go on, and maybe they even have some way for you to go online and do it, but who knows how to do it when your email address is at whatever your provider is, dot whatever it is. And yeah, it just was annoying. So you're like, don't send me pictures or forwards, where if forwards actually would like slow down the internet and your downloads so much that I hated getting them. Still hate getting them, but at least now I can just go straight to spam or whatever. But anyways, okay, yes. You should different in your recording today. Bloody Gamer says I should use that. Okay, so moving on. I do have things I want to cover. I promise. Before that, a little bit more water. So, okay, why don't I have good audio right now? That's a question you might be asking yourself, especially after I made that screeching sound, which probably sounded even worse on the microphone this webcam has. Well, it's because we have 2 condenser mics, and normally that's just more than enough. But they're both being used right now. Because we're producing so many videos. Do you want to know how many battle reports we are going to have recorded this week? Because, okay, before I answer that question, let me just let you know how much we have been doing. So let me open up my little report thingy here, and I'll go right here, and I'll refresh it, make sure it's not cached. Okay, so the past 8 weeks, we've done 7 battle reports, then 9 battle reports, then 10. This is per week. 8, 9, 10, 12, 10, and so far 7 this week. In fact, that reminds me, did I forget to schedule the ones for today? We only have the one. Shoot. That's in the vault. We got to put one out for free. It's going to be, oh, that's a vault one too. Hey, where's 36? Maybe I'll just double it up tomorrow. Yeah, we'll just double up tomorrow. So sorry for if you're not a vault member, you don't get a battle report today. If you have been noticing, we've been producing 2 battle reports per day. That was my goal. I took over actually content management. Dave was doing it for a while, but then he's been so busy with so many other projects that that he just hasn't had time to do it. So I took it over, and I made my goal to have 10 battle reports a week, and that's a lot. Battle reports are time consuming to make. And so 10 a week, that would be 5 for free, 5 in the vault. So every day we'd release 2. We still want to make sure like 4 or 5 of those are 40K, and then 2 or 3 of those are War Machine at least, and then we're starting to do other games. But yeah, 10 a week. So we've actually been managing this, almost do that 10 a week. We did 12 the 1 week. That was pretty awesome. But this week we have recorded and will record 18 battle reports. So it has been just a madhouse. And on top of that, we just started our Indiegogo fundraiser on Monday to redo the studio. So right now we're in the middle of renovating the studio. It's being painted. It's going to take us like another week and a half probably just to get it all set up. Maybe even longer than that because we want to do all the decorating and stuff. And so like all the battle reports we're editing right now, or like I've been doing one right in my office. I got a table set up right there. And yes, that is Dreadball. I'll talk about that in a second. And so it's just been so busy. Normally with the 2 condenser mics, and we use those for the voiceovers. So there's rarely that 3 people would use them at the same time. There's sometimes we need 2. That's why we have 2. but it's rare that 3 need them. And so usually I have that condenser mic for my live show, but Owen's editing battle reports right now, and Chris is editing some painting tutorials for the Vault right now, and he's doing voiceovers for that. And so I just like, you know what? I'm just going to do it with crappy webcam audio because otherwise these guys won't be able to finish their videos. So I'm probably going to have to buy another condenser mic or 2. And you know what? With the fundraiser, we did say that we want to get more audio equipment, so we'll definitely be doing that. So 18 battle reports this week. That doesn't mean we'll have 18 battle reports next week. Even if we got all those edited this week, I wouldn't release them all in one week because then we might have a slower week next week, so we want to kind of stagger them to keep it nice and steady. So yeah, my goal is still 10, maybe up to 12 battle reports a week, and then eventually we'll increase that, especially as we introduce other games. But I don't want to get too high after that. We'll get to a point where we'll say, okay, that's probably enough battle reports that we're producing. Now let's focus on making them even better. And that'll be a lot of fun too. And that's part of the reason why we're doing this fundraiser and getting this new studio. So let's look at some of the questions or comments. Talking about the fundraiser. Nicely done, Skarshack. Such Stresker says, just glad you guys got 4 times the amount you were asking for. You certainly deserve it. Thank you very much. 40K Addict, looks like you need more banter style. Skarshack says, indeed, more banter. Do you mean like more Dave or just more people doing banters in general? Because I've actually been doing some more banters with the X-Wing battle reports, for example. I do those all banter style just because it's easier. And the Dreadball one too, but we'll get to that in a second. Punisher One saying, get a headset, Matt, especially a Sennheiser. I use a Sennheiser PC151 for my live show. I don't like having the headset on during the live show, so I'd rather use the other one. So, the Blighted Gamer, it seems that donating has slowed down. I hope you reached the 17K mark. Yeah, that's normal. When we did the Dark Potential one, it did super awesome at first, and then it kind of slowed down, and it was like there were little spikes here and there as we talked about different things. And so we'll be releasing some new perks and maybe some new stretch goals, or some other things as well to get people more excited. So maybe we'll see another couple spikes, and then there's usually a spike at the end as well. So, and then Dark Heroic says more bat reps. Of course, no matter how, we could make 1,000 million bajillion battle reports every day, and there would still be somebody saying, you know what, I don't think you make enough Sisters of Battle 40K battle report. No, Sisters of Battle versus I don't know, Dark Eldar. I'd like to see more Sisters of Battle versus Dark Eldar battle reports. That would be better. Or they'd find some obscure game and be like, you know, you really need to, you need to cover this game as well. There'll always be more things that we can do, which is awesome. Red Dragon 162, Matt, how can Owen have worked for you this long and still not have seen Captain Slaughter's rejects? I don't know. It's been a little while since Dave's really done one, so maybe that's for that reason. So, Fire Drake, how will you do the Infinity Battle reports? Just curious. I don't know yet. Not until we actually do one. It all depends on how long the game takes. Like if it's a 3-hour game, like your 40Ks and Fantasies and War Machines, so you definitely want to do those more beat bat rep style. Although the banters are fun too. Dave loves doing the banters, so he'll always do that, even if they are long. And if you learn how to record them properly, you can actually cut that time down a lot. But like the X-Wing battle reports, you can play that in an hour or 2. Dreadball, we just played in an hour, and so those ones you can kind of have more to them. So, Dark Heroic, where has the beat map bat reps gone? I'm doing them still. We're releasing beat map bat reps. We just released them yesterday, 2 X-Wing ones. So, they're still there. It's funny, I talked to Dave about this, the difference between perception and reality. For example, and especially with companies, and this goes for any company, and this is why PR is so important. But anyway, there's an example of somebody emailed me and said, you know, I saw your lifetime, the Vault membership thing on your Indiegogo campaign. I'd like to get it, but I have some concerns. One is that while you're making lots of content, I prefer 40K bat reps, and you've been making less of those lately. And 2, I'm worried that if too many people take the lifetime Vault membership, you'll lose your monthly revenues from those people, and so therefore you'll have financial problems in the future, and then you won't be around for that long. So if I'm going to invest in this lifetime, I want you to be around for at least a few years. And I replied to him saying, well, first off, the average person that joins our Vault doesn't stick around for 5 years. And so when you buy a lifetime membership, you've already paid us more than the average person ever pays us for sticking around. Second, it's funny that you should say we make less 40K bat reps now, because we're actually making more 40K battle reports now. It's just that we're making more content overall, and the ratio of 40K battle reports has gone down, but the actual number of 40K battle reports has gone up. So that's the perception versus reality thing, that we can actually increase our 40K battle reports, but if we increase other things as well, then people will be like, oh, you're not doing as many 40K because I keep seeing these Fantasy and War Machine and other ones I don't really care about. So it's a tough job as a business owner to help the end users, yourself, see exactly what we're trying to do. So, you know, what are you going to do? See, Bloody Gamer says, I really want to see some Hobbit content, please. Don't forget the game that got you into this hobby. I agree. It's just that we can't spread ourselves too thin. And since The Hobbit wasn't as popular, although I just rewatched The Hobbit the past couple nights, and it made me really want to play it, especially the whole goblin scene. So, I'll talk more about what's going on. Okay, how would I tell you that right now? Like, you've seen that I've been doing X-Wing battle reports, and those have been a lot of fun. I think that we'll continue doing those for quite a while. It's the kind of game that I think is not going to be around forever. It's not like 40K or War Machine where it's evergreen. They're going to run out of ships to do. Maybe they can come up with some expansions for like the new Star Wars movies. That would be interesting. But I have a funny feeling it's going to end up being one of those fad games. And so it just won't last forever. Excuse me. But in the meantime, while it is popular, we'll of course do a lot of it, and then maybe still cover it later on. And then we're now starting Dreadball. We officially filmed our first Dreadball battle report today. In fact, I want to show you a bit of it in this live show, just a little bit, because the person I'm playing against is Chantel. She is a co-op student here, and she also loves cosplay, and yeah, it was very interesting. She's fun to play against. So, want me to show it now? Fire Drake says. Okay. See, the problem is I was so not ready for this. Just trying to get all the things working that I didn't even get preloaded. So you'll have to. The screen. Oh, that's the wrong one. What about this one? Okay, good. Screen will go black, and then I'm gonna put the video in there.
So I'm not going to
pause
make
it.
this a complete.
Pause. See, if I was ready for this, it would be better. So I've got two cameras set up for this, so it's going to go back and forth. But this is just a snippet near the beginning of it. So I'll just show this for, I think it's only a few minutes long. Hold on. Yeah, it's only a minute and a half long. And then you can just... And once again, it's filmed in my office because our studio is still being painted. But enjoy.
Tutorial of the game because, well, we've only played it a few times, and I don't want this video to be too long. So we're just going to play. But probably just from us looking up rules, you'll get a general idea of the game. And so the way that we've been practicing is that I have been playing basically the human team, or the Tron Tech team, and Chantel has been playing the Marauders. So essentially they use their Warpath, the different armies from Warpath to come in here. So this is kind of like your Orcs and Goblins, and these are kind of like your Space Marines, if you want to compare them to 40K. Which everybody always does. And this is the pitch that you play on. And yeah, we're just going to start playing. So first things first, find out who's home and who's visiting. Hey, you're visiting this time. And so you get all the red dice and the red tokens. I get the white dice. We each get one coaching die because of our team. And you'll get one card, and I will get 2 cards. Let's quickly look at those. So here's my one card, and here's my other card. And Chantal will show hers, and I won't look, I promise. Just hold it up so you can see it there. Okay.
I got a horrible one again.
You got a horrible one again?
A really horrible one.
That's right, you can try other stuff. So I actually get to go first, so I have to deploy first. So this is my side, and this is Chantal's side. So we have all of our people in here. Well, I already know what I'm going to bring out. I'm going to bring out...
Okay, so there's a little preview for you. I get that rendering today. It'll probably be up in the next couple days, or maybe next week. So, anyways, so I'm going to give you a bit of a review of Dreadball. Heck, I'll do that right now, because otherwise I'll probably forget to do it. So let me grab the rule book right here. So if you're not familiar with what Dreadball is, which I'm sure some of you are not, but I'm sure a lot of you are, Dreadball is basically Mantic's response to Games Workshop's Blood Bowl. I'm sure they hate it being called that, but at the same time, that's exactly what they're doing. They saw the niche in Blood Bowl not being filled by Games Workshop, who originally created it, and all the fanatics there, and they thought, hey, we could tap into that. And so they created not exactly with Blood Bowl, instead they call it Dreadball, and it's a futuristic one rather than fantasy, but it's the same idea. I haven't actually played Blood Bowl myself, so I don't know exactly how it works. I've seen it played, so I know you move your guys around and all that kind of stuff, and you have the ball and you're trying to score. But Dreadball definitely has the same idea. Whether it works the same in the mechanics or not, I have no idea, because I've only played Dreadball. And so it's a lot of fun. I do actually enjoy it. When you buy the actual game Dreadball, then included in this is the rule book. And it's all the rule book. Also the pitch, the gaming board that you saw. And it's kind of nice that you can just fit it on a table. Every once in a while, it's nice to go away from you need a 6x4 table to play this with lots of terrain, to just a simple thing. And then it has 21 finely detailed plastic miniatures, 10 human players, 10 Marauder players, and a referee. And then it has the Dreadball cards, the counters, 2 balls, a roster pad, and dice. So it comes with everything you need. The miniatures are unpainted, so you have to paint them yourself. But that goes the same for anything Mantic does, obviously. And Pilky CRC says Dreadball is more like basketball. Apparently Blood Bowl is more like American football. I don't know if I would compare Dreadball to basketball. I think I'd compare it more to football, but at the same time, I guess, yeah, you're probably right, because probably in Blood Bowl you have to actually get the ball to the end, whereas in this one you have to get to a point and throw it in and get a strike. Dreadball is more like hockey. Well, whatever it is. Warg Pug says that is one of the most poorly designed and laid out rulebooks I've ever encountered. Hasn't stopped us from playing it every game night this year, though. That will be part of my review. So, part number 1 of the review. Is the game fun? We've played it about, I think, 4 or 5 times now. The first time I played it was against Dave. We were trying to learn the rules, but then he didn't have time, so Chantal sat in for him. And then I've just been playing against Chantal ever since. Because it's a new game, you kind of need the same 2 people to learn the rules. It was a pretty steep learning curve for somebody when you have 2 players who didn't have any idea how to play. But not too bad. It's not bad compared to learning a miniature war game. But yeah, the rule book was horrible in how it's laid out. It took me forever to figure out things. So if I have one complaint about the game, it is that the rule book is just atrocious. I will say it that brutally. It is poorly designed. It's lacking in a good layout. You have to guess to find things. The index is there to help you find some of the things. But it was so hard to figure out. It's lacking so many things. It's lacking an index at the end for everything that you can possibly have. It's lacking short form diagrams at the end to kind of... all I want is a list of all the actions you can take and the types of skill tests you can have with those, and then the modifiers for them. They totally could do that. And that could fit all on 1 page, maybe 2 pages at the back of the book. Because there's so many times I'm like, is it a skill test or speed test? Skill test or speed test? Skill test or speed test? Now I'm getting used to it. Pretty much everything that has the ball involved with it is a skill test, and then everything else is speed, basically, except for like the strength stuff, like slamming, because I had a brain fart there. It's hard talking with the chat going, but I'm gonna do what I need to do. But is the game fun? The answer is yes. It's a lot of fun. Once you know the rules, it's very fast-paced. We played this battle report is going to be an hour long. It's unedited. Well, it's kind of edited, as you saw. It goes between the 2 cameras, but it's not shortened. So the game actually took an hour, which is a very good amount of time. Like, it was it's a fast-moving game. It's a lot of fun, and I'm just starting to see the cool strategies and tactics that you could come up with. Wargplug says, what team do you prefer? Well, we've only played with the Marauders and the Humans, the Trontech team, as they're called in the book. And I've been playing the Trontech the whole time, and she's been playing the Marauders the whole time. And I think I like the Trontech better. I like the Marauders with their grunts. They're just powerful, and they're intimidating, and they can do so much damage. And they're hard to do damage too, unless you gang up on them. But I love the Trontech strikers. The Jacks I barely ever use. Usually my starting lineup is 2 guards, 3 strikers and 1 jack, and I'd make it 4 strikers if they had 4 strikers, but we've just been playing with the recommended starter army every single time. And we're not playing with any of the special characters or anything like that, because that's going to add who knows what to the whole thing. So we've only been playing those 2 armies, so I think I prefer the human side, the Trontech side. But I could see having some fun with the other side, because on the Marauder side, which is basically orcs and goblins, the goblins are really fast compared to everybody else, so they're really good at evading and doing all that extra movement. And they have the biggest, strongest guards so far, and so you can come up with cool tactics with that. But the fun thing with the Trontech is, since the strikers are so fast and so good, you can do really cool maneuvers and getting the ball and passing it down the court or down the pitch and doing all that. So I think I like the Trontech better, and so probably for the next couple of games at least I'll play them just until I'm really familiar with the game. So I'm sure we made mistakes in our game that we did today, but you know, even once we know a game really well, you can still make mistakes. And this one we've only played a few times. But unlike X-Wing, we actually played it a few times before making our first battle report. With X-Wing, we just kind of jumped into battle reports after we played it once. And so I thought this one, X-Wing, is a little easier to learn, and it's better laid out in the rulebook, but that's also because it's simpler. So, Lord Ronan said, my store, the Dragon's Lair, is having trouble finding a supplier for X-Wing. Yeah, everybody is. I still have back orders from 2 or 3 different places to get the rest of it. Luckily, somebody lent us theirs in the meantime. But once they take those back in a week or 2, then hopefully I'll have the other ones. But yeah, they're having supply problems because it got so popular. So I don't know if those are purposeful supply problems or whether they're real supply problems, but yeah. Kustomoto says, is X-Wing easy to play? Yes. Yeah. It's got some pretty interesting tactics with the movements and some of the combinations and the kind of in the list building aspect of it, but I really like it. I don't see it, like I said, I don't see it being a long-term game. I saw in the discussion people talking about the next wave of fighters and all that, but really all that's left is the B-Wing and the TIE Bomber. I know that they might announce, I know they've announced like the tiles and things. They might do the whole tile thing to do capital ships. That would be kind of cool. But, or have some sort of tokens for capital ships. I know they can't do them to scale because it'd just be ridiculous. But yeah, they're kind of running out of things to do, which means, and on top of that, I'm starting to see, with how many times I've played the game, I'm like, okay, I'm starting to see repetition here. And once you see repetition, then that can lead to problems, because the thing that 40K and War Machine and Fantasy have going for them is that you can change up your list so much. And I know that you can do that with X-Wing, but it's going to be more limited. So, Pilkey CRC, the thing I considered was if the new movies had new fighters. That's true, but the question is, does Fantasy Flight have the rights to the new movies? So right now I think they only have rights to the original 3. I wouldn't mind. I know that on the chat some people are like, oh, I hope they don't touch the movies that shall not be named. In other words, Star Wars 1, 2, and 3. But as much as I hated the movies, I love the ships and the ship fighting and the combat and all that. So I actually do hope they do it, because I think that would be really cool. But they're not really compatible with each other, so they'd have to be a separate game. But of course, you can make the rules compatible. But it just wouldn't feel the same. One thing about Star Wars that Star Wars has going for it, the X-Wing game I mean, is that it is Star Wars. That they're like, we don't have to make this realistic, we have to make it like Star Wars. Like a barrel roll, for example. I'm going to barrel roll and get away from it. It's like, you're in space, just shoot a rocket to the side and you'll go, boom! You're not in an atmosphere where you have to go with the wind currents and you have to worry about gravity. But it's totally Star Wars, and so it works. So yeah. Doofy Dobie, yeah, there are a lot of fighters and gunships in other movies. Like the Warpugs is Naboo Starfighter is amazing. Yeah, there's tons of stuff. If they open it up to Star Wars 1, 2, and 3, that would give them a whole new range of models to do, and that could expand it for another year or 2. And then when the new movies come out, if they can get the license to that, that'd be awesome. I'm assuming the new movies will be watchable enough. So, the Bloody Gamers, I actually like the new movies. Well, that's fine. There's going to be some people who do, obviously. I like that they made them. I just wish they made them better. So, anyway, am I broadcasting in 780p? Oh, I am. 1080p. My camera's only 720p. I can do 1080p, but really low frame rate. But Lord Ronan, the books have hundreds of new ships. And yeah, that's true, but the books aren't as popular. You have to realize that. They have to go by popularity here because they're a niche in a niche. They're in the geek niche, which is getting bigger, and then they're in the board game niche within the geek niche, which is getting much bigger. And then within that, they're in the more complicated board games because this is not, it's almost a miniature war game. In fact, it is a miniature war game by definition, which is a niche within that niche. So, Arcs, do you think the new Star Wars movies are going to be any good? I have no idea. I sure hope they will. Disney could do it well. It's Disney. Disney's just a big company. You can't, just because you put Disney on it doesn't mean it will be good, nor does it mean it will be bad. It just depends on the director and how they do it. I'm looking forward to them. Let me put it that way. Vininator, are board games really taking off? Well, they have in the past few years, that's for sure. So, Blood Angel of Menoth, Star Trek looks to have a larger selection to pull from in their new game coming out. Yeah, they might. They definitely have, well, there's tons of ships in Star Trek, at least on the Federation side. The other sides, you notice that? How the Federation side is like fully developed, every ship is unique, and then on like the Klingon and Romulus side, they have like 2 ships. And they see those over and over again. So that's usually the case with pretty much every fiction, not even science fiction, just fiction. Humans are always developed, and there's all sorts of, there's a wide spectrum of things that you can meet with humans, and every other race created is like this. Even Tolkien did it. Elves are like this. How many bad elves did you see in Tolkien? Not very many, if any. And dwarves were like this. This is exactly how they are. This is exactly how elves are. Here's exactly how an orc is. Here's exactly how an ogre is. And here's exactly how a troll is. But humans, they range all over the place. And so that's usually the case in pretty much any fantasy. It's rare that somebody, a writer or author, an author or writer for a movie or something will actually develop the other races. So. Kern Banks is linking to the Dead Zone sci-fi miniatures board game. That actually looks cool. I do want to contribute to that and get that and make videos on it when it comes out. But Tucker 2025, Matt, your X-Wing videos made me go and rebuy Battlefleet Gothic. My wallet holds you accountable. I apologize. I meant to make you go and buy X-Wing. I hear Battlefleet Gothic is good. I'm just not going to cover that game yet because we're trying to get away from only doing Games Workshop games for obvious reasons. Eventually we'll come back and I want to cover, if there are rumors of Blood Bowl coming out with a new version in the next year are true, we'll definitely cover it. Like, definitely. If they come out with a new Battlefleet Gothic or Necromunda or Mordheim, we'll definitely cover it. So we'll have that flexibility now. Lord Ronan, they have different classes of starships, but in order for the creators to feel the people will follow what's going on, they have to look the same. Yeah, I realize that in a 2-hour movie you don't have much time to really develop everything, so that's fine. Okay. Tucker says GW are no longer doing their specialist games, it seems. I don't know why people are saying that. Like they haven't done their specialist games for a while, and they just kind of were selling what was in stock. So I don't know why people are all of a sudden saying they're no longer doing them. If something went out of stock, I would more assume that they're doing it again, rather than that they're no longer doing it. Arcs, are you going to try Dust Tactics? We don't have any plans for it yet. We are swamped with just trying to keep up with what we're doing right now. We just introduced X-Wing, now we're doing Dreadball. I want to do Infinity next, but I think that'll kind of be our limit with the resources that we have right now to actually be able to cover the game sufficiently. So as certain games die out, if X-Wing dies out, then we can replace that. And as we grow, as the vault grows, as our revenues grow, then we'll be able to afford more employees. And as more employees are creating content, then they could be more dedicated to certain games. That's actually what I would prefer. I'd prefer each employee to kind of have 2 games that he only does. And that way he gets really good at those games. If I were to talk about this, like ideal MiniWarGaming.com, then what I would have is tons of employees making video battle reports, and each employee only does 1 game. And they do that 1 game really well. Heck, you'd even have certain employees, they only cover certain armies, and then another employee covers other armies, and they do those really well. Because in the end, to make really good battle reports, you need a few things. One, obviously you need the right kind of video recording equipment. You need the right kind of format. That's why we kind of worked with the beat map bat rep style, the voiceover style, and also the banter style. We're experimenting with new styles all the time. We're just kind of merging different styles. And then you need interesting players. Obviously, you need interesting games. And then you also need experienced players. Like the ideal player really knows the game, and they're really good at tactics, and they're good sportsmen. So although you want to sprinkle in a couple people that everybody hates, just to keep it interesting, and all those things put together. That's what you're really looking for. And so that would be the ideal MiniWarGaming. Yeah, and then you'd be enthusiastic about the game. Blood Angel of Nana says, and yeah, it's true. And but that's going to take some time before we kind of reach that, and I'm okay with that. I'm glad that there's something for us to go to. I'd be sad to say, well, we're doing 10 battle reports a week. Don't have to get any bigger than that. Well, thankfully, there's a lot of games to cover, so there's always room. If let's say the whole miniature wargaming market was just 40K, like sure we could really extensively cover it, but we kind of get like, all right, now we're covering it. Great, now we'll just continue covering it. There's not really room for growth. So I'm really happy that the market is just exploding with miniature war games. Obviously, not all of them are going to get big, but we're the media company. We don't have to worry about which ones go out of style and which ones come into style. We just track it, and we can do videos on the ones that come into style, and we can stop doing videos on the ones that go out of style. So the risk to us is nice and low. So it's a nice business model because of that. Fire Drake says, I know Relic is a card game, but I would like to see it. I think Jello Balls actually plays it. Well, we're going to be covering more than just war games. We do want to start covering board games as well, partly because it's just so darn easy to cover. You don't have to build up an army and all that, so it allows us to kind of slip in more content without all the investment on it. So I do look forward to that. We're kind of selling into this new business, right? We've almost liquidated everything. And by the way, everything is at 70 to 80% off. 70% if you're not a Vault Gold member, and 80% if you are a Gold Vault member. So go check out the clearance, but we've literally sold 93% of our inventory. So thank you very much for helping us liquidate. There's very little left, or not 93%, like 90% is gone. So there's still a lot of spray paints left, some Spartan stuff, some Mantic stuff, some paints, some brushes. There's not much left, I'll tell you that much. But what is left is 70 to 80% off. Anyways. And then MiniWarGaming no one says, go Space Hulk. I wouldn't mind doing some videos on Space Hulk. That would be fun. We did enjoy Space Hulk. Although, once you played that game a few times, there's not really much more to it. So maybe that, it'd be good to do those kind of little short mini-series of different games. I think I would enjoy that. Delest one says, I would prefer different people on all games, because if it's just Dave doing 40K, then it's pretty much just Chaos Space Marines and Blood Angels versus whoever. But with everyone playing 40K, it means we see Tau, Green Knights, etc., etc. That's true, but you have to understand what I'm saying. Dave doesn't just do 40K. He does 40K, and he takes care of DVD content, and he takes care of managing part of the business. And so he's very limited in the amount of content that he can produce. And so you put that, and so that means he can't play as many games per week, which means he can't learn as many armies. Whereas if you have a full-time content producer who all they do is 40K, first off, you'd hire somebody who's really into it already, who already knows 2 or 3 armies. Like Jay, for example, when we hired him, he already plays Orcs. You can confirm this, Jay, you're on here. Orcs, Grey Knights. Go ahead and type them all out. What are all the armies that you play and know at least somewhat well? And so he plays all those different ones. And if we were to hire somebody for War Machine, we'd want them to already play a bunch of different things. He had Dark Angels, he does Dark Angels as well. And so they'd come in already knowing a few armies. So you want to hire people who are into the game, who love it, and so obviously know it a lot. And then they can learn new things, because it'll be their full-time job. So they can learn, and then you have to realize that they'll be playing different things. Somebody says my stream is cutting out, but I don't see that on my end, so it might be your end. So 40K Addict says I have Orcs, Tyranids, Grey Knights, Dark Angels, Tau, and Necrons. Sorry for the caps, it is stuck for some reason. So Orcs, Tyranids, Grey Knights, Dark Angels, Tau, and Necrons. That's 6 different armies that he plays, so he can really show you that variety. Fire Drake 18, are you outsourcing any of these videos to people with the proper setup? Well, we've already done that with our tutorials. Like Austin doesn't work from this office. We've been getting DVDs created by people like Java Balls and Ichiban and Les from Awesome Paint Job. Tutorials are easy though, because you just need this little area where you have your camera pointing. Battle report's a little harder. We haven't yet figured out a way to do that. If you were to have a setup and you were making battle reports, and you were making them high quality, at least the quality that we do, then we would hire you. I would almost guarantee that. I don't know how much we'd hire you, like would it be part-time, full-time, or whatever it is, but we'd definitely love that. Somebody who has access to a different player pool and different terrain and all that would just be awesome. So yes, that would be awesome. But so far it's hard, and we know why it's hard, because we do it. It is tough. It is tough. So, Tucker 2025, I've sent emails and commented on their videos and everything, and they just aren't replying now. Who are you talking about? Tucker. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm not sure about that one. I was worried that you're talking about us. I'm like, what? We're not replying? Randomizer, do you recommend X-Wing for a fun short game? Well, I wouldn't call it short. It's usually played in 1 to 2 hours when you get to the 100-point level, which is where it actually gets fun. It's still fun at the lower levels too, but at the smaller points levels, it's just like one die roll when you or lose the game. So it's not quite short. But 1 to 2 hours isn't too bad. Chris 1717171 says the biggest problems with making your own videos I find is the lighting. Yeah, we're gonna have to release like a comprehensive series of making videos, but you know what? First, we're gonna have to figure out how to do it better ourselves. That's why we're making a new studio. Blood Angel of Mana said, wonder how many I would's you would get if you asked who would be willing to work at MiniWarGaming. Yeah, no, we don't have a problem with having. There's like 2 or 3 other people that I already know I want to hire, but it's just once we can afford them. So, and they already, a couple of them already know who they are. So, blah blah blah. 40K Addict says me. Of course you do, and you do work for us. Yeah, no, I know a lot of people would like to do that, and that's not me boasting. It's like, who wouldn't want to play games and make videos for a living? It's fun. I gotta say that much. Okay, so that was my Dreadball review. We talked about X-Wing. There was something else I wanted to talk about. I should have written it down, but today's been so crazy. Fundraiser, no, I've talked about that enough. Don't need to cover it right now. Maybe we'll just go, we'll jump into
Q&A.
And you can go ahead and ask me whatever questions you like about anything. And then if I remember what I wanted to talk about, I'll jump in and do that too. Scottish Tabletop Gaming, I would like to thank Matt for giving a like to one of my videos, and the video is now our most watched video, so thank you, Matt. You're welcome. It's fun being able to do that, having like 78,000 subscribers. When you like, they all see it in their feed. So you're like, I think this video deserves a few hundred views. Like, that's fun. Colonel Craig, what are you going to do with the warehouse? We're keeping it, because the store has been turned into a studio / probably a club as well. We're going to be still running club events, I hope. The warehouse, we need the space for storage and other things as well. 90C, you should be on payroll. I am on payroll. Punisher 1, Matt, you seem to be tired of Kador. Yes, I am. Have you looked at Pace Orsha or the new Grey Lord Outriders? You mentioned that you were considering another faction to try out and mention Crix. Any other factions? Well, I want to try out Crix because we already have a couple hundred points of it. We had gotten for Dave, but he's just not getting into War Machine because he just doesn't have time. So they're already there, and so that saves me the painting, because I haven't painted a miniature for a long time. I even got all those Hormagaunts and I haven't touched them yet. So, Red Dragon 162, do you like banana splits, Matt? I love banana splits, especially if it's chocolate with chocolate with chocolate. Londroin power cord for my Handycam, and we will be doing a couple, I think. That's great. Mystics, I don't think they will put me on the payroll 90. Oh, that's what they were saying. Vininator 1618, will you buy the new camera when you finish the Kickstarter or before? We've already looked at the one we're going to buy. Do you want to see which one it is? I will give you a link. Hey, our campaign's on Indiegogo's homepage. Sweet. Where is the link? Link. Here we are. Copy. And paste. That's the one that we're looking at getting. It's a Canon XA10 HD professional camcorder. It's a good low-end professional. We're going to try that one out. We're going to buy one, and if it's good, we'll buy a couple more. Bloody Gamers, Hobbit content, please. You versus Dave. We would love to, and maybe we will. Can't say we won't. Custumotos. Quick question, if I come to the local club, would I be able to learn how to play 40k? Definitely. Yes. We just have to schedule it. Now, going back to the Hobbit content, that kind of made me think of something else. One of the kind of constraints that we have for trying out new games is getting painted miniatures. You might think, well, you guys can just paint them, but we don't have time for that because we're too busy making videos. So if you have used armies that are well enough painted, tabletop at least, and you want to sell them to us, remember that you can. Just email sellyourarmy@miniwargaming.com with pictures and what you want for it. And we've already been buying some armies, so feel free to do that. Abizu heard about the oncoming Flames of War coverage at Beasts of War. Have I heard about it? I have not. Now I have. Tucker, 2025. Matt, have you tried P-Vlad as your caster using Signs of Importance? I have several times. He's awesome. But still getting bored of Kador. Todd, A, what do you think about Imperial Armor rules for normal 40k games? A, if you want to, why not? I am not a competitive gamer, meaning tournament kind of gamer. I am competitive. I love to win. But if you ask anybody who would do battle reports against, we take things back. If things are up by a millimeter, we give it to the person. It is not about making it exact. It's about having fun. And so if there's some rules that you want to bring in, then sure. Now that's different than just showing up to a tournament and being like, I'm going to bring this cheese list. That's just boring. Whereas if you play against your friend, you're like, I want to bring this cheese list. Here's exactly what it is. You build something to try to beat it, and then that's fun. So that's the way I like to play. It's fun. Segland, could you include the army list using the battle reports in the video descriptions? Would make it easier for a new player like me to figure out what some of the models in the game are. That's not a bad idea. We might be able to do that. TGS Carrot, are you surprised with the number of people who went for the Dark Potential perks? Obviously, because I made most of the perks DVDs, and people are like, meh, DVDs, Dark Potential models. So we're going to be announcing a couple new DVDs in the next week or two, and maybe that'll increase the interest in grabbing the DVD perk. But yeah, I was surprised. Definitely. Yeah, missed too. As a Crix player, they are fun. Thank you. Fire Drake 18, will Dave ever beat Owen with his chaos? NightTC says no, LOL. I don't know if he has yet, because you don't see all the battle reports yet. Crix Light, you will love Crix, Matt. We kill the enemy, then use their corpses to refill our losses. If we can't use their corpses, we use their souls. Feeling that, we use their souls to cast more spells and blow up everything. We're deliciously dirty like that. Yeah, I like the ability to kind of have more options. A Kador, it's not a bad army. It's actually pretty good in certain lists that are very difficult to beat. But they're more just they're straightforward. This is how you play them. So that's nice. They're a good beginner army that way. But I want something that lets me kind of have some fun and do all these little tricky things. Viminator says, wow. Frederick says, nice camera. Crawling says, darn it, I had to reload the page because the video froze. Now I have to watch a commercial. Yeah, that sucks. You could always get the Twitch Prime thing or whatever. I actually got it because I got tired of getting commercials at the beginning of me wanting to watch my own stream. So, but obviously I don't disagree with the idea of paying a monthly fee to contribute to a company, because that's what we do. Mr. PJ Stahi, how do you feel about an all Nurgle demon army? Cool. I've been reading up, and it seems like one of the only gods that can be run as a solo army after researching it a lot. Well, I don't care about how good it is. I care about how cool it is, and that sounds cool. Lon Ronan, it's a canon. My son's mother would kiss you just for that. That's your son's mother. Wouldn't that be your wife? My son's mother. That would be your wife. Punisher 1. Whoa, that is one expensive camera. Actually, $1,700 is pretty cheap. You have to remember that we are currently using the Canon Vixias. I'm going to show it to you. This is what we're using right now. This is a great camera, by the way. It's a great entry-level camera. It's about $400. You don't have to get this exact Vixia. This is the HF R32. That's probably not even available anymore because they come out with a new one every year. It's great entry-level. It's all you need. The nice thing, the reason that we get this one and not a cheaper one is because it has a microphone input. And then we buy these super expensive mics. These are $1,000 for the receiver, and like this right here is $1,000. And this plugs into the camera and makes your videos 100,000 times more professional. If you want a piece of advice about creating videos, audio is more important. I say that while I'm using the audio in a wireless cam, but I already explained why that was. Audio is more important than video, hands down. Hands down, more important. So before you increase your video quality, increase your audio quality. Now, unfortunately, that usually means something expensive because there is no really low-end wireless microphone with a receiver that can plug into a camera. So, Viminator, have you played Battleship Galaxies? Nope. Kernbanks, that's the way to play fun style. That's the only way to play. I understand why people like tournaments. I do like playing competitively. I like games like War Machine that are more competitive than 40K. But at the same time, I still hate the millimeters aspects of War Machine. I really, really hate that. I don't like it. It's like, oh, there's a sliver, I can see you and kill you. That just drives me crazy. So we try to have more fun with it than that. Cruz Azul says, I might have to ship my army to Dave so he can beat Owen. Abizu, and yeah, kudos, Matt, for switching Kador to Crix. I just love playing the Undead Horde. Kern Banks, do you get access to the DVDs with Vault membership? You do. The Silver Vault membership. The Bronze Vault membership, you only get the one that you got the free DVDs with. But the Silver membership, you get access to all the DVDs as digital downloads, not physical copies. Guardsman Waffle, what would you say is a good point value for a War Machine game? I consider 1,500 points to be a medium-sized game for 40K. What would be the War Machine equivalent? 35 points. 35 points is your... This is a good standard-sized game. 50 points, people will really like, because it allows you to really bring the army that you want. It's kind of like playing a 2,000-point game of 40K as opposed to 1,500. It allows you to bring those couple extra things that you just couldn't fit in. But the only problem is a 50-point game, and especially with the way people play a War Machine, could take you a long time, much longer than a 2,000-point 40K game. So, 40K Addict, and I will be bringing some Signar to the office next week. Awesome. Crix Light, Diversity got me to Crix 2. I have 6 different lists with P. de Negra alone. Look forward to seeing you use them. Tucker20, I'm going to tell you a secret, and it's ticking me off. Last night I played, or yesterday afternoon I played a game against Joel, War Machine. He played my Kador, I played Crix. It was an awesome, awesome game, and I accidentally deleted the footage. I haven't done that in a while, and I was so ticked off at myself because it was such a good game. But it's gone. That's okay though, Joel will come back and we'll keep playing again. But I had to tell you that, just because I had to confess to somebody to make me feel better. Tucker, 2025, I've never had a commercial and don't pay anything. Maybe in the country you're in, they don't have the commercials? Like, seriously. Like, some commercials only play in certain countries. Blood Angel of Minoth, I did a refresh and now I don't have video. Arg, that sucks. Bloody Gamers, do you prefer Frodo to Bilbo or the other way around? That's a weird question. I think they're both cool. Kern Banks, his wife or girlfriend. Right, of course, if your son's mother could be your girlfriend as well. Blood Angel of Minoth, there we go. Oh, it's the video. Customatos, does the Imperial Inquisition count as Imperial Guard? I recently got an Imperial session. I don't know, actually. Arcs 22 or X. That's true, it could be an ex-wife. That's 3 possibilities. Yeah, Miss 2. I run straight Nurgle, Chaos Space Marines, and Demon Army. It is definitely fun to play. Kern Banks, got a couple of those X's. I'm sorry to hear that. Really, yeah. Arcs 22, LOL. Lord Ronan, not anymore. Hold on, is that? Oh, yeah, he's the one that said my son's mother would kiss you. Sorry to hear that. I don't make jokes about divorce. It's obviously not a good thing. Crowlinks, so can we have an update to the website that allows us to see when our Vault membership is about to run out so we can be able to keep track of them? That's not a bad idea. I will have to add that to my list. Mad Cow Crazy, will you be selling those when you get new camera equipment? No, because it's always good to have other cameras around. Crowlinks, I love my membership, but don't know when it will expire. You can always email support and they can tell you, but I do understand that it would be nice to have a way to quickly look at it. Ray-Dash Gamer, in my experience, Canon has the best mics in their pro cameras. Yeah, but I'm never going to use an onboard camera mic for most of our professional videos. Just, like, these ones are... Now, mind you, now that I say that, when you watch that... here. When you watch this video that you play on... so right there, you can see the camera in the background that's recording the pitch, the actual gaming board. And that's the microphone we're using. So the audio is being pulled from that camera, not the one that you're currently looking through. And so the audio that you're hearing, I'll let you hear it again. The Marauders. So it's essentially they use their Warpath, the different armies from Warpath to come in here. So this is kind of like your Orcs and Goblins. And these are kind of like your... So, whoop, hello there. That was weird. So that's the sound of the microphone, which is good enough, because we didn't have a better... We need to get more audio equipment so each person can have a microphone. Right now we don't have that. We have 2 different kinds of wireless mics, and they're the same. They're both Sennheisers, but one's a G2, one's a G3, so they interfere with each other if you try to put up at the same frequency. So yeah. Anyways, Colonel Craig, you can buy an H1 that just records audio and then dub in the track and the editing. It only costs $100. That's true. You can do that. You can record the audio separately. It's just a pain. Crixlight, Guardsman, 35 points. Is a medium-sized game. Okay, you're answering that question. Punisher 1, so the meta bumped up to 50 from 35. I've always thought 35 is still the norm. 35 is the norm, but 50 is like the 2,000 point game of 40k, where it lets you bring everything. Around here, people love 50 way more than 35. Firejack 18, do you think you will add any special effects to the videos, or is it too time-consuming? We will, eventually. That'll be one of those, okay, now we've got the quantity we want. We're making more money with the vault and revenue, so now we can invest in more quality and improve that way. We always want to improve one way or the other, quantity or quality, and sometimes both. Nocath, are you enjoying playing Combat Patrol over Standard 40k? That's more a diversion. Like we thought, Jay and I were like, let's play a few games today, and I want to get a bunch of them in. I don't feel like just playing one game of 40k, so we've got like 4 of them done in one day. So that was actually just one day. We just played Combat Patrol for one day. And they're fun. They're not competitive, because when you have a small number of guys, one die roll can make all the difference, and obviously they're going to have harder counters. Most games don't work at low points values because they don't balance. They balance more at higher points. But it's fun. That's just a fun way to play. Crixlight, meta is always 50 points. Masters, most cons, hardcore, etc. Firejack 18, I think 40k should be a minimum of 1500, except for maybe special missions. It's a game. You play it at whatever points level you want. I do find that 1500 is where it kind of gets interesting, but we play 500,000 point games all the time, and they're fun. Buddy Gamers, are you going to see the new Star Trek Into Darkness? Of course. I love Star Trek. I grew up on it. Mad Cow Crazy, what will be the difference between gold and silver memberships now? I'm silver member and has been since you first had that offer. Okay, I'm going to tell you a bit about it, but I'm not going to tell you all of it because it's not all publicized yet. Basically, we have found a store in the UK, a store in Canada, and a store in the States who have agreed to give the discount to the gold members. And that will actually make it better than what we currently had because these stores are awesome, and that's all I'm going to say. I will not confirm what stores they are because it hasn't been publicized yet and we're still working at the final details. But that's what the new gold membership is going to be like, so it's going to be awesome. Crixlight, Matt, are you going to lock and load? Nope. Many of us from Alberta are. We need to get the Canadians rallied together. Sorry, not going. Red Dragon 162, tell us about that shirt that Joe gave you for the fundraiser. He hasn't given it to us yet, at least not that I know of. Arc 22, you guys are doing more Warhammer 40k history. I really enjoy those. Hope you guys keep doing it. I think they will. Viminator, I like the new 40k patrol games and you and Jay posted. Will there be more? I'd like to see more Orc Boys versus Termies. We don't have any plans to do more, but yes, there will be more because it's just kind of it's more. We don't plan that far in advance what we're going to do because it's just hard to. At this point, we're just trying to get lots done. So we'll see. Kern Banks, how many Apocalyptic goers are online? Matt, what's the point total look like for the Apocalypticon? We've already got over 500,000 points. That'll be fully painted. How many people? I think we're at about 50. Can't remember. Blood Angel of Menoth heard a drop in sound reception when you turn away from the camera. That's why you use a mic for a professional job. That's correct. Like when I go like this, you can't hear it as well. You can hear it better here, and you can't hear it as well here. Whereas if I wore a lapel mic, you'd hear it no matter where it went. Abizu, what is your favorite caster for Crix? I literally played one game with them, so I guess Pita Negra, because that's 1 out of 1, right? That's the only one I've played. Pilke CRC, is your aim to hire some people who won't play games and just edit videos? Or do you think it's better for those who play the Bat Rep to edit their own video? My aim would be in the long term to just have people who edit videos. But there's certain kinds, like the voiceover ones, it's hard to have somebody else edit it and then you do the voiceover because it's easier for you to remember what happened if you're the one that just edited it. But the banter Bat Rep style and all the other videos totally could have another person editing them. So yeah, eventually that's what it would look like. People that are they're literally just recording the videos and other people who are just busy at editing them. And that way you can hire people who are good at things like special effects and who maybe don't look good on camera and aren't very good personality-wise, but they have the skills there and they can then put that extra polish into it. Obam Brada 123, what's your opinion on Tyranid Lictors? They're not that great, but I love them. Kuso Matos, does the Imperial... You already asked that. I said no. I don't know. Tricky, whatever happened to the firefighter guy, Tim the fireman, or Fireman Tim? He never worked. Well, I guess he technically worked for us for a short while. He was just helping in our club, but he just has a life. He's busy. He's a fireman, so he hasn't been able to be around here as much as he'd like to. Ooh. Mad Cow Crazy. Will it be possible to upgrade from silver to gold? Unless it's Wayland Games in the UK, I don't think the discount will matter. Or perhaps Total Wargamer, but don't think either of those can lower the prices another 10%. I am not going to answer. Will it be possible to upgrade from silver to gold? It's always possible. You just cancel your silver and you start a gold membership. I'm not going to answer the rest of that, because it would give away stuff. Alright, and I think I'm going to finish here. FireDrake18, what do you think about the Infinity game system? No idea, haven't really looked closely at it. I think I understand the basic rules, I've been intrigued, but it's hard to find a good bat rep. That's why we want to do it. Kusamato says, sorry for asking questions twice, no problem. Okay. Mad Cow Crazy says, I really don't like the banter bat rep style. Sounds like Dave is forcing himself too much to banter about something, so he blabbers about anything, making it really annoying. Throw in Dave's knowledge of the game, make it frustrating for me to watch. People love the banter bat rep style. I understand why some people wouldn't like it, and I also understand why some people wouldn't like my style. Some people just love to watch the banter. He doesn't actually force most of that. That's mostly natural. But I can understand why you wouldn't like it. Totally get it. That's why we want to have different kinds to kind of please everybody. Alright, I gotta finish here. It's already past 4 o'clock and I gotta do a couple things before I head home. Thank you very much for attending this live show, and thank you for all your support through the fundraiser, all your support through our liquidation, and all your support, because you just keep giving it, and it's awesome and allows us to improve and do more stuff in return for you guys. So thanks again, and happy wargaming.